A lot of parents wait too long to talk to their kids about money. They think, hey, I'm gonna wait until they're a little older. But the truth is, kids are like sponges. They absorb everything. They absorb the way that we spend our money, the way that we think about money, the way that we handle our bills, the way that we handle our stress, the way that we maneuver when times get hard and our finances get tough. But see, it doesn't have to be the way that you think it is and the way that our parents raised us. Because for us or people that have financial difficulties, you don't always get the best advice from a rich parent. But if you did come up in a struggle, you have an advantage because you're able to teach your kids what not to do and what moves not to make. I was in situations when I was younger, coming up in my early 20s. My baby was he was about 4 or 5 years old, and I didn't know what to do. So I started making bad decisions. I got a credit card. I started maxing it out to the point where I was gonna repay it back later on. And I didn't know exactly what credit was. My parents never taught me credit. I never understood what to do with a credit card. They always told me it was bad. It was the devil. It's evil to use a credit card. I had no idea that it was gonna be able to later help me out and build my credit. But these simple mistakes that we make, we are able to teach our children these so they can then grow up to be wealthy adults. And this and for any parent that just sits there and they keep all their finances in the dark with their children, no. Sit your child down and tell them what you messed up on, what mistakes you've made with your money. All that information later on will benefit them because you'll be able to consistently tell them what you did wrong instead of telling them what you did right. You can tell them that you didn't invest enough money and you didn't put enough money in your savings, or you didn't set aside enough money in your savings, or you didn't set up an account just so you can have an emergency fund. As soon as they get their best income, that first big paying job is paying them way more than they ever made as a teenager. They start to feel like they deserve things. So they start financing things that they really cannot afford, but they feel like they deserve it. You need to tell your child that you have to be patient. You have to learn discipline before you actually spend your money. You don't have to finance that car as soon as you get a good paying job and decide, hey, I deserve this car. I'm finna get this nice car, this Charger, this Mercedes, this BMW. I'm finna go ahead and buy it because I feel like I make enough money to afford it. But they can't. And you have to explain this to them at an early age. So when they do get old enough, they'll understand what they can do and what they can't. It's okay to buy a cheaper car and save up enough money to have an emergency fund, and you'll be able to buy anything you want later. At times it's hard, so you have to express this to them early. Don't wait until they're 20, 15, or 20 years old, and then they come to you with some financial problems, and you don't know what to say because you didn't train them when they was younger. It starts when they're young. It starts when they're young. And that first bill comes in, and they're 7 years old, and you can sit down with them and explain the bill. Like, why do you have to pay the light bill? How am I going to afford the light bill? The energy that you're using, it pays this light bill. You turn the TV on, it pays the light bill. So this is how a light bill works. Sit down with your bill. It's okay. You have to explain this to your children early. They're like sponges. They're gonna absorb all this information, and it will help them in the future. Because later you'll be able to tell them you need to study finances. Like I'll tell you this. My son has understood exactly what the stock market is since the age of 10. I never knew anything about the stock market until our later years in life. But as soon as he turned 10, I knew enough about the stock market, dividends, interest rates. I understood how the balance works. So that's what I explained to him. So when he got older, his first job, he didn't want to buy anything. He wanted to open up a brokerage account and he wanted to invest. It wasn't that I was pushing it, the narrative in his brain. I wasn't consistently telling him. But the thing was, he already had the information because he grew up listening to me explain certain situations. It just takes time, but the kids will listen and it will resonate with them in the future. It's like I'm gonna give you a simple example. The way you put toilet tissue rolls in the bathroom, you either face it the way coming down or the way pulling up. You learn that from your parents. Every little detail about your life you get from your parents. And sometimes little details make a big difference in the future. And learning financing is one of the biggest things that I feel like a father with less or limited income or have debt issues are able to explain to their child what decisions not to make. I'm a prime example of a child actually doing way better in his early life than I ever did just because of the information that I gave my child at a younger age. You can help them be wealthy. Just because you're broke, just because you're broke doesn't mean your child has to grow up broke. Don't think that it's inherited debt thought process. There's no process. The key is information. The greatest wealth is information. The knowledge is the greatest wealth, and you can change your child's life just by talking to them about your financial issues, your hardships. Tell them why you hit the bottom. Tell them why you can't afford it. The more that they understand, the greater their chances are of being successful in the future. But knowledge is key. And if you don't understand it, you can read books on it and then teach your kids the information that you read in a book. They're going to learn it from you because you're the father. When I was younger, I went to my father for everything, and he didn't always have the answers. We're not going to always have the answers. But all we can do is try to just nudge our kids in the right direction and give them enough information so they can actually survive in this messed up world that we live in, because our kids look at us as superheroes. They look at us as the ones to go to. So just be there for your kids, man, and try to educate them early. Don't wait till late. Don't wait too late. Don't wait till it get to a point and they don't want to listen to you anymore. Because that's what happens. So, son, if you're hearing this, you're gonna be wealthy. You're gonna be rich one day. Just stay locked in and stay focused.